foremost, I'm going to give all praise, power, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem, Rakam Kodash, double honor to the true leaders of the nation of Israel in the last days, Great Millstone, GMS, the elder apostles, all right, the elder apostles on down, and shout one to the brothers and the sisters out there that supporting and subscribe wholeheartedly to the message of Yahweh Hashem, Yahushua, okay? And today we got just a quick topic, just touching on how the Heavenly Father, he turned his back upon his people, but ultimately, he's going to redeem 1/3 of his people. And like we always go into, which side do you want to be on? Because there are two sides, there are two phases of this world that are to come. Those that shall be destroyed and those that shall be redeemed. All right? So first I want to get the book of Numbers. Oh yeah.
Hey, Hosea 5:15. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early.
That's right. Hey, because where is the Lord himself sitting right now? He's sitting on the side of his Father, all right? In the heavens up above. So he's returned and he's waiting until that time of Jacob's trouble. He's waiting to that time of calamity that's going to come upon the face of the earth, all right? And he says, in their affliction, they shall seek me early. That's when a lot of people are going to run to and fro trying to find out ways of salvation, trying to find ways to be redeemed. All right, because your current condition that you're in is because what you're doing now is what you did back then.
That's right.
And now you're reaping the so-called judgment for it, man. So a lot of people don't believe in they love to say the terminology of God. Mm-hmm. They love to scream out Jesus, mm-hmm. but they do nothing that is written about those two entities, man. Mm-hmm. All right. You got something else?
No, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, Numbers chapter 23, verse 9.
Okay. Numbers.
You know, hey, because ultimately we were a lost and forgotten people, all right. But in the very near future, we're going to be redeemed, remembered and redeemed, man. All through the spirit and power of whom the world knows as God, whose true name is Yahweh, and through His Son, His only begotten Son, whom the world knows as Jesus Christ. But whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahushua. Go ahead.
This is Numbers 23:9. Then I came to the governors beyond the river and gave them the king's letters.
All right. That's like in Numbers. Yeah, Numbers 23. Numbers 23:9.
Yeah, it's lucky. Numbers 23:9. For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone, and shall not be reckoned among the nations.
And who is that? That's the tribes of Israel, man. So you're not accounted as nothing. That's why they call you minorities. That's why they call you immigrants. That's why they call you aliens. That's why they call you niggers, negros, wetbacks, red men, red people. You know, all these derogatory terms. Because you're not reckoned among the nations, and that was prophecy. All right.
You know what? I got a precept.
Go ahead. You know, hey, because the beginning of wisdom, all right, is the fear of the Heavenly Father, and to understand what He did unto His people, on how He whooped them, and because you fear your Father based upon that rod that He placed upon you. Mm-hmm. You know that discipline will come at any given moment when you strayed from a right path. And that's what our Heavenly Father did unto His people. All right, go ahead.
Deuteronomy 28:37, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword.
And that's what you're called. All right, all you niggers, all you spicks, even to be called black, even to be called African American. Mm-hmm. All right, even to be called Latino, mm-hmm. or Cubano. All right,
that's right.
Or Jamaican.
That's right.
All go ahead.
Among all nations, whither Yahweh shall lead thee.
Now jump to James 1:1. It says, unto all nations, whither the Most High Yahweh shall lead thee. All right, because our rock sold us, and only our rock can redeem us. And because we were a forgotten people, but ultimately we're going to be remembered and redeemed. All right.
James 1:1. James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, greeting.
To the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting, man. Both Old and New Testaments specifically speak upon the redemption of the 12 tribes of Israel, man. Mm-hmm. And because our forefathers were the nation of people only granted the promises from the Creator Himself, man. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob ultimately had his 12 sons, man. The 12 tribes of Israel, from the so-called Negro all the way down to the so-called Mexican. All right. You got something else? Hey, jump to Psalm chapter 83, start from the top. All right. Hey, because it's a beautiful thing to have this, to be called into this gospel right now, because this is the true good news, man. That's why the scriptures say, hold on to that which thou hast, that no man may take thy crown. So you got to actually cherish this thing, man, you know, and believe in that redemption. Because we're no longer tossed to and fro by every wind of the doctrine. So to hear somebody say that the chariots don't exist, we're not fazed by that. You know, to hear somebody say that form of fire that is going to come in the way that we've been taught, and through the Spirit we believe firmly, by the way of the intercontinental ballistic missiles during the so-called World War III, trying to say that that's not what that means. All right, the Heavenly Father's giving them strong delusion that they may believe in lie, and ultimately the Lord's gonna put it right in front of their face, man.
Right.
Go ahead.
Psalms 83:1. Keep not thou silence, O power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power.
Hey, Yahweh Shem Hawashai, Baba Kashai, get to working on these nations. Get to working on Edom. Get to working on all the wicked abominations that we see on a day-to-day basis, because there are continual stumbling blocks placed in front of the 12 tribes, man. Go ahead.
For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head.
So there are haters of the Lord, man. Do not I hate them that hate thee, said the Lord, man. Go ahead.
They have taken crafty counsel against our people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
And we are the hidden ones, man. And because the true Israelites, their identity was concealed. It was hidden. In order to live in a current day world or current day kingdom, you would have to have known the conquered history. Then you can either continue in that history, or you can rewrite that history. Where did the so-called black man who lives in America come from prior to America?
Right.
You say, okay, yeah, he came from Africa. And then you say, oh, yeah, your own people sold you. All right? But you got to understand that those other dark-skinned people that are still dark-skinned to this day are not the same bloodline, not the same lineage, and not the same people. You got dark-skinned East Indians. You got dark-skinned Ethiopians. You got dark-skinned so-called Africans. All right? But they all come from, because when the earth was repopulated, it was repopulated by whom? Shem, Ham, and Japheth. All right? So those three founding fathers, so to speak, are the fathers of the nations of the world. All right? But the Heavenly Father has placed a difference between his people and those that are not his people. And only his people are going to be able to accept and perceive that message. You know? And because ultimately, at the end of the day, those that believe are those that are going to be redeemed. Those that believe, whom the Heavenly Father has placed his spirit inside of, they're no longer going to be forgotten, but they're going to be remembered. You had something, bro?
No, bro.
All right, let me get Isaiah 65.
Okay.
65 and 15.
Isaiah 65 and 15.
And because the world requires answers, or at least they should. They should want answers. But they seek the crumbs from the oppressor's table so much that they overlook the obvious and the evident. Just like they got Terry Crews, man. He came before the Congress, called himself speaking out against Hollywood and said some things need to change. Now he was harassed and molested on numerous occasions by another male. All right, having his loins groped and grabbed, and he sat there and allowed it to happen. You know, and the Congresswoman asked him, "So if you knew that this was wrong, you know, why did you subjugate yourself to that?" So here he breaks down, and he almost breaks down into tears and said, "Being a black man in America, you only have one shot." So he basically subjected himself onto that disorderly conduct.
Right.
All right, those are abominable acts to receive that crumb from Esau.
That's right.
You know, and because the scripture says, "Arise, ye and depart, for this is not your rest."
Right.
That's why all these so-called celebrities and entertainers out there are doped up, drugged out, alcoholics, they get tattoos all over their bodies because their soul inwardly is very, very dark. And they do not believe in the Heavenly Father who created all things. They believe in this current world.
That's right.
All right.
That's right. Hey, Isaiah 55:1. Hold, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, and he that have no money, come ye buy and eat. Yea, come buy wine and milk without money and without price.
Hey, because freely you have received, freely give, man.
Mhm.
Hey, because this is that water or that wine that after you consume it, you no longer thirst.
Mhm.
This is that food, all right, that after you eat thereof, you're no longer hungry, you're filled. Hey, but that's all spiritual, that's all symbolic talk, man.
That's right, bro.
You know?
Wherefore do ye spend money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which satisfied not?
So these people, like we said, they're still spiritually empty, man.
That's right.
All right?
That's right.
They're still vain individuals,
Mhm.
ungodly individuals, abominable individuals,
Soulless.
soulless people, man. You know, and they don't believe in the Heavenly Father. You know what I'm saying? That's Psalms the 14th chapter, man.
Mhm.
Hey, going into them that are fools who practically say that the Heavenly Father doesn't exist. Go ahead.
Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye that which is good, and let your soul delight itself in fatness.
And that's what the Most High's hopefully like they're doing. Hey, we're excited and we're filled, you know, not as a gluttoner, a gluttonous person. They eat to their sick.
Mhm.
They eat to their nauseous. They eat to their aching pain all over.
Mhm.
They can't move,
Mhm.
you know. But we're satisfied completely with the words of Yahweh Shem Hawashai and the gift that He has promised unto us. That gift of redemption, man.
That's right.
You know, and because the compassion toward the 2/3, that's out the window.
That's right.
And because ultimately, they're going to come back into the kingdom in their right mind. Because you read the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, a new covenant upon the planet Earth, and He's going to instill His ways, His mind, His law, statutes, commandment inside of His people,
That's right.
and they're no longer going to go off, man.
That's right.
And that's the so-called wishful thinking or hopeful thinking that you'll have for a 2/3 is going to die here on this side, man. And because they need that.
That's right.
If they don't die, hey, then this world is practically going to continue in sin.
Mm-hmm. Last verse. Incline your ear and come unto me, hear, and your soul shall live, and I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David.
So the Heavenly Father is going to be with you, man.
That's right.
You know, hey, fill your belly with these goodly things, man.
That's right.
And Yahweh Shem Hawashai is ultimately going to redeem you.
That's right.
You know,
Because hey, this is that place of knowledge, man. And then your spirit becomes rejuvenated, man.
That's
Now
right.
you understand why these things are happening, man. Why you are in the position you are in. Why your people are suffering, man. Why? Because hey, we fucked up, and due to that, our Father had to chastise us, man.
That's right.
All right, by placing us within captivity. All right, so we wasn't brought into America to thrive or to evolve and become great.
Yeah.
All right, we came here to finish out their remaining sentence, so we can therefore be declared once again as the sons of the living power, man.
Right. 'Cause we weren't brought to the land of our enemies to rebuild the temple of Jerusalem.
Right.
Or to build a kingdom of Israel inside the kingdom of Esau.
Mhm.
You know, because this is his world. His blessing was to rule the entire planet Earth with the sword, man.
That's right.
You know, so you can't strive with a man that's mightier than you. You know, you can only be allowed to do what he allows you to do. Point blank, period. I don't care how much power and authority that you may think you have in this world. Now, I'm talking about the tribes, man. All right.
You know what?
Okay. And then after that, give me Isaiah 65.
Okay.
How about Shah? Hey, because you can only do ultimately what the Heavenly Father allows, you know, but He has His whipping stick to regulate planet Earth,
That's right.
you know.
Hey, this is
Go ahead.
2 Corinthians 4:3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost.
So if the gospel that we speak, if you can't understand it, then it's because the Heavenly Father hasn't opened you up to the understanding.
That's right.
And if you have a sincere desire to understand the truth,
Mhm.
you know, the Heavenly Father is going to open you up eventually and automatically.
Mhm.
You know, and because Scripture said many are called, but few are chosen.
That's right.
But at the end of the day, if you're sealed from this understanding, you know, then you'll never get it point blank, period.
Okay.
No matter how hard you try.
That's right.
Because there's going to be a continual blockade in front of you.
That's right.
You're going to see things that aren't there. You're going to hear things that weren't spoken, you know, and you'll continue in an indirect path, you know, because ultimately it's the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, who sealed the hearts of man, so to speak. All right.
That's right, bro. And to back you up,
Okay.
all right, this is Isaiah to prove that point, chapter 6, and verse.
Because it's all about understanding, you know, so it's all about understanding who you are, where you came from, you know, and not to go too deep because a lot of people become these African American radicalists, you know, and they just jump off the, you know what I'm saying, the deep end, man.
That's right.
You know, you can't be entangled through the simplicity that practically the simplicity of wisdom, man.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, bro.
Isaiah 69, and he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not.
Mm.
Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their hearts, and convert and be healed.
So Isaiah was like, no, don't let them get it. Don't let them get the understanding. Stop up their ears, close up their eyes,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Let their belly be not filled with this rod, you know. And because Scripture goes into how when you eat of this roll, it first shall be a sweet,
Yeah.
you know, but then also it's going to make your belly bitter. He didn't want you to taste of any of that, man.
That's right.
He was like, you going to make a point?
Yeah, because just to build on what you're saying, Elder, because part of that Holy Spirit is the contact with the angels, man. That's how they are servants to us, because they break down the information so we're able to perceive it and then go out there on the highways and the byways and, Lord willing, edify the elect.
Right.
So the reason why these 2/3 can't get it, literally when they come across the camps or they see the thumbnails or they see videos, it doesn't make sense to them because literally there's a block by an angel. He's just blocking all those thoughts down because the Most High ultimately do not want them to be healed by the truth. They're here to be destroyed, man, because 2/3 of our people have to fulfill the prophecy of not being saved, man.
That's
And that's the balance of it.
Kind of.
Just a little more, Elder. Verse 11, then said I, Lord, Yahweh, how long? And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate.
You know, and that's what's ultimately coming, man. You know, and because that great destruction is coming, that's part of those that are going to be destroyed, man, and not redeemed.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You said you want Isaiah 65?
kind
All right, Isaiah 65 and 1.
of 15.
Salakia. Isaiah 65 and 15, and it states, and ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen. For the Lord Yahweh power shall slay thee, and call his servants by another name.
And you can't get around it, you know, and because who are those people, man? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and because Scripture say that our as it is written, our spirit bear witness that we are the children of Yahweh, man. That we are the children of the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. I had a quick precept.
Go ahead.
Back it up. Jeremiah 15 and 5. No, it's like, yeah, Jeremiah 15 and 5. For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem, or who shall bemoan thee, or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest?
Right, and these other nations don't give a damn about us, man. Because what they're doing is they utilize us, beginning with the Edomites, to build up their kingdoms, man. That's what they do, all right? Because, hey, at the end of the day, the elite know who we are, all right? But what they're trying to solidify their spot to remain eradicating the nation of Israel off the face of the earth, man. All right? That's why you have that Planned Parenthood. That's why you have all the diseases placed in these ghettos, these so-called lower class societies, man. Because what Esau is trying to do to continue to oppress you, man, and make you give up.
And the cameras in the skies,
Yeah.
in the heavens above the atmosphere. He has cameras and different projectiles.
Mm-hmm.
He has different submarines. Because if he's talking, as the scriptures say, what I'm saying, count me the stars of heaven. You know what I'm saying, go down to the depths of the sea.
Oh, yeah.
Then the Heavenly Father will do away with Israel forever, man.
Mm-hmm.
And because it all goes back into the book of Genesis between Jacob and Esau. We're Jacob, the 12 tribes of Jacob, all right? The 12 tribes of Israel derived from Jacob. The so-called white people out there in the world today derive from Esau.
Mm-hmm.
They're Edomites, all right? Now Jacob received the blessing and the promises over Esau. And Esau was going to ultimately be subjugated and serve his younger brother Jacob, man.
Mm-hmm.
But Esau cried for a blessing. He said, bless me, you know what I'm saying, bless me, even thou me, O Father. And he gave him the remaining.
Mm-hmm.
So Esau is ruling the planet Earth right now with that sword, okay, that his father blessed him with.
That's right.
But after, because in the book of Second Ezra, I believe it was 69, it says for Esau is the end of the world, but Jacob is the beginning of it that follows.
That's right. Right.
You got a precept?
Let me see.
If not, you give me Deuteronomy 28.
Yeah.
Well, you can find that.
Go ahead.
I got 20 and 59.
All right. Deuteronomy 28.
Hey,
59.
don't just going into it, just touching on how, what I'm saying, we're in this current condition. And people don't know why racism is in the world. Why little Timmy got shot through the window, he was sitting down playing PlayStation. Why little Catherine get mauled by that pit bull. Why is my daughter a young whore? She's 14 years old and pregnant, Why little Trevante won't get off the couch and go get a job. Different things of that nature. Why did my dad leave the house?
Right.
Why was my mom running the streets? The Heavenly Father did a working on these people, man.
That's right.
And you look left and you look right, and you look at the current condition, current state, it's proof that we are the people. But at the same time, how Israel just blatantly denies their power, it's astonishing. You got something, bro?
No. And this is Deuteronomy 28:59. Then Yahweh will make the plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues.
So the Heavenly Father's going to bring plagues upon our people. He brought plagues upon our people. And because what has happened unto the nation of Israel has been unheard of, man. Go ahead.
Okay. Back into the scripture. It states, even great plagues and of long continuance, and sore sicknesses and of long continuance.
So that's why people suffer from all these different type of diseases, these different type of plagues, these unheard of things, man. Our people getting paralyzed and from the neck down, from the waist down, shoulder down. Like a lot of, a lot of this stuff, these things that happen to our people, and they all saying, yeah, God, my God is a powerful God. I'll walk again. Well, I'm going to beat this cancer, different things of that nature. And the scripture tell you that the Heavenly Father did that to you.
That's right.
No. You got some?
Yeah, I got some. This is Nehemiah 1:7. We have dealt very corruptly against thee, and have not kept the commandments, nor the statutes, nor the judgments which thou commandest thy servant Moses. Remember, I beseech thee, the word that thou commandest thy servant Moses, saying, if ye transgress, I will scatter you abroad among the nations.
You can't get around that, because where are we? We're in every part, we're in every country, every continent, every island. Israel is there, man. But the Heavenly Father's going to gather, he's going to ultimately gather us together again. All right? And it's both northern and southern kingdom.
That's right.
That's
right.
That's some more?
No, that's it.
All right. You give me, I'm going to read this in the book of Mark chapter 4, and going back into how when this message is preached, so you hear this ministry, and it's like a seed that's planted, but it depends on where that seed was planted. Now this is Mark chapter 4, start at verse 2, read on down. And he taught them many things by parables, and said unto them in his doctrine, hearken, behold, there went out a sword to sow, and it came to pass, as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and the fowls of the air came and devoured it up. And some fell on stony ground, where it had not much earth, and immediately it sprang up, because it had no depth of earth. But when the sun was up, it was scorched, and because it had no root, it withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no fruit. And another fell on good ground, and did yield fruit that sprang up and increased, and brought forth some 30, and some 60, and some 100.
And that last analogy of that parable is representing great millstone dealing with the apostles and the elders, man. Because what proves that via YouTube. Now you've seen beginning with 2007 how this truth had grown since now. You literally have camps within states of the United States, as well as it's become global, man. All right, so the Most High is declaring who his men are in the latter times, man. That's why you see these other camps, enmeshed with each other, although they have various doctrines. The only thing they have in common is that the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Shah is not with them.
Yep.
You
don't want to quote with that, definitely.
Yeah.
Verse 9, and he said unto them, he that hath ears to hear, let him hear.
Right. So basically, if you have the spirit, you're going to be able to receive it, man.
And when he was alone, they that were about him with the 12 asked of him the parable. And he said unto them, unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of the Most High.
And that you is collectively of the elect. Okay? All right, so it's only the elect are going to be able to understand these dark parables. Why? Because the Most High has summoned his spirit upon them, man. All right, because hey, if Yahweh Shah wanted everybody to understand it, you won't talk in parables. You will make it plain, man.
But unto them that are without, all these things are done in parables.
2/3 of our people are without. So like the elder was saying, hey, you can preach to them for 24 hours, man, but they're not going to get it because they're allotted to be destroyed, man.
That's right. Hey, can you give me Deuteronomy 76? Yep. I'm going to read this last verse. It says that seeing they may see and not perceive, and hearing they may hear and not understand.
Right, so when they come across the videos, they see the videos, they hear the videos, but they still, through the spirit, they don't understand what's going on, man.
That's right.
It doesn't make sense to them. The Most High would not let that truth register within their minds, man.
Right. Least at any time they should be converted, and their sins should be forgiven them.
Going back to Isaiah
Exactly.
the 6th chapter, man. Okay, because hey, once you're converted with the truth, you're healed. But the Most High doesn't want that to happen. Because yeah, right. Somebody has to play that lot of the 2/3.
Somebody has to play that lot of the scripture when it says that there shall be many more of them that shall perish than of them that shall be saved.
That's right.
So the Heavenly Father has a numbered group out there that will show it.
Right. Right.
And certain individuals, since the foundation of the earth, were chosen to be saved. Point blank, period.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Hey, Deuteronomy 7:6, for thou art an holy people unto Yahweh.
So now we're going to get into the glit and the glamour of the thing.
That's right.
So we've already broken down the scriptures going into why you need the current condition. Go ahead.
Yeah. Verse Deuteronomy 76, for thou art an holy people unto Yahweh thy power. Yahweh thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
So you don't walk around a pump on the earth with your chest all out because you're still a slave. You're still under the curses. But to understand that Yahweh Hashem Hawashai chose you to be a peculiar people above all people upon the face of the planet. The so-called Negroes in America, the so-called Latinos, Hispanics, the Native American Indians, you make up the 12 tribes of Israel. You make up that nation that was chosen by Yahweh Hashem Hawashai. You are the apple of the Most High's eye, man. And the current condition that we went into the phases earlier in this topic and subject matter on how we broke the Lord's statutes and commandments, and he put these things upon us. But now he's telling us that we're a holy people. To be holy means to be separate. So we don't do those things they do. All Jay talk about is hog heads and hams and pork chops and chitlins and crab. Like Esau taught you that was elegance, that was highly esteemed amongst men. You know, but the scriptures tell you don't eat those things that are unclean. All right.
You know what? Because you said something other in this precept. I didn't finish it out, but the Spirit brought it back up. This is back in 2 Corinthians 4 and 3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, and whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Mashiach, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them.
Hey, so the God of this world, so-called white man, blinded you through his media, all right, through his doctrine, through this Babylonian way, through this Babylonian custom, which is known as the American dream. Now everybody think, especially with this social media, social media has been the worst thing since slavery for a nigga.
Yeah, man.
Like these niggas are thrown because now everybody's mentally famous in their head because they got people that hit a little button that says follow or hit a little button that says subscribe. Or you can see all the likes you have, or you can see all the views you have, and it does something to somebody's mental.
Yeah, because Esau has likened them to like miniature icons, man.
Yep.
You know, because they get off seeing all these likes.
Yep.
How many people are following them, so on and so forth. How many people are checking in on their timeline.
Exactly.
Man, you know?
Hey, jump to Leviticus 19, verse 1 and 2.
I got a quick one too.
Yeah, come, go ahead, bro.
Hey, this is Psalms 33 and 12, just to back up Deuteronomy 7:6. Blessed is the nation whose power is Yahweh, and the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance.
That's right. And that reminds me of Joel chapter 2, verse 27, man. Hey, because Israel was a chosen people, man. A holy people, peculiar, standoutish. The what it says, what is that word? The founder of all things. That scripture's written.
Yeah, the former.
Yeah, the former of all things. That's Jacob, man.
That's right.
All right. That's why we're in golf. That's why we're in NASCAR. That's why we're in hockey. That's why we're in basketball. We're in football. We're the greatest scientists.
Culinary arts.
The greatest mathematicians.
Physicians.
The greatest physicians. What's some other highest doctors, lawyers?
Yeah.
You know, we're the smartest people on the planet, man. And it's not bragging or boasting. Boasting is just that the Heavenly Father had placed a special gift inside of these people.
That's right.
We're the salt of the earth. Everybody looks, even though they hate us, they hate to love us, no matter where we go, we're still, what would you call it, an ooh and an odd nation. Because if you go to China, you go to Europe, you're getting all the eyes, man. Hey, because you're a peculiar people,
Right.
and everybody naturally flocks to your energy or to your vibration. You know,
That's right.
even the wicked amongst our people.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Leviticus 19, 1 and 2.
Okay.
And then we'll finish off with Zechariah 2 and 8 and we wrap it up. Because hey, the Heavenly Father turned his back upon us, you know, but he's gonna reverse that.
God. Leviticus 19, verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, Ye shall be holy, for I, the Lord Yahweh, your power, am holy.
That's right. So you're gonna be the Most High is requiring a holy perfection from us, man. So you gotta turn from your evil and wicked ways and get rid of that old individual whom you are or whom you were, all right, and be transformed into a new spiritual man. You know, start doing those things that are written. For the men out there, start growing your beards out. You know, in the scriptures, because you know the only thing a church woman does is be a prophetess. You know what I'm saying? Drop all that. You know, leave the prophesying to the men.
That's right.
Start taking care of your husband if you have one. Start being a better woman of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, a better woman of the Lord. And that's all the Lord is requiring, ultimately. But 2/3 can't even do that simple task. Because the inkling or the thought of wanting to do right is not in their thought process. Go ahead, bro.
I got a precept for you.
Okay.
Bro. This is Zephaniah 3:20. At that time I will bring you back, even at the time I will gather, I will give you fame and praise among all the peoples of the earth.
And that's what the Lord's ultimately going to do, because we're going to get that, and when the destruction comes as well, man.
Mhm.
And because this is that second Egypt, that second Exodus, so to speak, and we left out as we walked out of the land of Egypt. We walked out we walked out in style.
Yeah.
We were decked out.
Mhm.
All eyes were on us.
Mhm.
You know, we happy, rejoicing.
Had the fear of the other nations.
We had to fear the other nations, but they saw that Yahweh was with us, man.
That's right. That's right.
You know.
When I return your captives before your eyes, says Yahweh.
So the Lord's going to reverse these roles, and because we're currently captive, we're here captive, man. But what the Lord's going to do, He's going to reverse those roles to where the captive is going to become the captor.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because all the other nations who had a hand in persecuting us and putting us in slavery, all right, to subjecting us to so-called systematic racism, different in that nature, the Heavenly Father has a judgment for them, and it's going to be by the hands of His people.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Isaiah 55:4. Behold, I have given him for a witness to the people, a leader and commander to the people. Verse 5. Behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and nations that knew not thee shall run unto thee because of the Lord thy power, and for the Holy One of Israel, for he hath glorified thee.
That's right. You know, and so that fame and the scriptures that, as it written, that the Lord said that He was going to give you fame, all right, and praise in the land of where you will put to shame.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
That's right.
Yeah, we're gonna finish out Zechariah 2 and 8.
All right, Zechariah 2 and 8. Zechariah 2 and 8. For thus said Yahweh of hosts, after the glory have he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye.
So he that toucheth the nation of Israel toucheth the apple of the Creator's eye, man.
Mm-hmm.
Any final things?
No.
All right. Hey, so with that, hey, Most High willing, the edification was there, and we'd like to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rekakdash. Double honors again to the elder apostle, great millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Most High's man, the four corners of the earth, pushing His word, sincerity, and the truth. Shalom to the sisters out there that support those brothers, man. Until next time, we'll say shalom.
Shalom, Michael.